Upper90studios.com.
Upper90studios.com. Fantasy Premier League cheats and tips revealed. We'll show you our secret strategy for how we ranked in the top 1 to 2% of all FPL players every year since 2007. On today's show, we'll break down our FPL strategy in 30 seconds. We couldn't wait. Our January wildcard is activated. Who's in, who's out, and finally, we'll show you how to take advantage of the January wildcard to boost your team value. Let's begin with a 30-second look at our FPL strategy for ranking in the top 1 to 2%. In the first half of the season, we make 1 to 3 transfers each week. We stock up on cheap goalkeepers and defenders. This frees up funds for more expensive attackers to maximize game week points while boosting team value. After January, we use our team value to bring in the strongest players in every position. This year, our overall rank is actually better than usual at this stage, but it's at about this point anyway when we start making our way up the mini leagues because other teams can't compete with our team value. We can line up with Rooney, Aguero, and Diego Costa up front, with strong midfielders and defenders to back them up. Let's break down our January wildcard transfers. Let's start with Burnley's Thomas Heaton. From game week 25 through game week 32, he's facing matches against Man United, Chelsea, Liverpool, Man City, Southampton, Spurs, and Arsenal. We let him go now so we don't have to waste a transfer later in the season and take a 4-point deduction. Part of our strategy is to focus on the team in the long run, even with goalkeepers. What we do is we bet on the best combination of goalkeepers, with the flexibility to alternate between them depending on the matchups each week. For instance, our starting keeper, Costel Pantilimon, has 3 difficult fixtures on game week 27, 33, and 38 when he faces Manchester United, Arsenal, and Chelsea away. Tim Krul, on the other hand, comes in with his corresponding fixtures are all at home: Aston Villa, Spurs, and West Ham. That's perfect for our backup keeper to step in. The idea is that you don't want to waste a transfer on a goalkeeper in the second half of the season, so be sure to take a look to see if they have complementary fixture lists. On defense, we have John Terry, Nathaniel Klein, and Wisdom. Who do we transfer out? Stephen Taylor, who's out for the season with an Achilles injury. We had him on our bench for a few weeks, but we waited until the wild card so we wouldn't take the 4-point deduction. In his place, we brought in Chris Baird, West Brom, who has an easier fixture list in the short term, but will need to be reevaluated before the last 5 games of the season. That's a long way out, so we're not worried about that yet. Also out is Gael Clichy, whose value we think may drop before game week 23. In his place, we brought in Sunderland's Patrick Van Aanholt. He's fully fit now after returning from a long spell out with a shoulder injury. His value dropped from 4.5 to 4.2 during his spell on the sidelines, so we see him as a really quality bargain at the back. Our biggest movers in midfield are Santi Cazorla. Arsenal is looking to shake things up in the battle for top 4 with their recent form, and he's surrounded by Ozil, Sanchez, Oxlade-Chamberlain, Giroud. He's got the potential for massive points in attack. Also, he's got the deliveries from set pieces and goes from the penalty spot. 14 points against champions Manchester City in his last game. We see a player like Harry Kane and everyone seems to be buying him. So what we're doing is we're keeping him for now, and right before the game 23 deadline, we're going to sell him, and in his place, we're probably going to bring in Olivier Giroud. So how do you take advantage of the January wildcard to boost your team value? Simple. You keep the players that people are buying on your team until the very end of the deadline period, and you sell them right at the end so you can benefit and make that profit. Something else we've done is we've kept a lot of money in the bank, 4.3 million. This allows us, with just one transfer, to upgrade Rooney to Sergio Aguero after game week 23, or replacing Stuart Downing with Raheem Sterling without taking a 4-point deduction. Speaking of Aguero, we're not 100% sure that he's fit. For comparison, in his last game, Olivier Giroud ran 7.4 miles, while Aguero ran just 5.8 miles. And next up is Mourinho's Chelsea at Stamford Bridge. With 19 goals conceded in 22 matches, Chelsea has the Premier League's second best defense. So for now, we're taking our chances with Rooney, and we've left enough money in the bank so that if we made a mistake, we can easily correct it without taking a 4-point deduction. Keep an eye out for the second part of this blog post and maybe podcast to come next week. We're going to have a preview of our game week 23 team, including any last-minute transfers. If you miss out on any of our transfers with our blog or podcast, be sure to check us out and follow us on Twitter. If you want to stay ahead of your FPL competitors, don't forget to subscribe to our email list at the top right of our page, Upper90studios.com. We'll send you our weekly team prediction and best FPL tips, which you can use to tweak your own team. See you soon.